everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Lara Trump, Wanted for Questioning. Let's jump right in, see what we got today. Here we go. Question number 1, will you consider doing a feature interview with the beautiful and inspiring First Lady, Melania Trump? I like that you felt you needed to tell me who the First Lady was. Isn't it nice? We can say the First Lady again, and it's Melania Trump. Just iconic everywhere she goes, every outfit, at the soccer game the other day, just everything. Perfect. It's perfect all the time. Imagine you, like, that's part of your family. And then I'm over here trying to do my best. No, I'm just kidding. She's amazing. Well, I would love to do an interview with Melania. The offer is always extended. She knows that. And I think if there's anyone she could trust to do a good interview, you're probably looking at her right here. Because I think there's a lot that's changed in her life, you know, over the past several years. And we really haven't heard from her that much. And then since, you know, my father-in-law was inaugurated for a second time, I'd like to kind of allow her to talk to everyone out there in the country about what she's doing, her platform, you know, what she hopes to see happen, and really what it's been like a second time for her, because it has been different. I think it's been different for all of us. This time around, you know, it feels so much, I don't want to say it feels so much better, because there was so much great stuff that was happening the first term, but I think people get it now, right? That's the difference. The last time, I mean, remember, we were just constantly taking incoming, and now it's almost like we're all on the same page with the president, who doesn't even give them a second to try and razz him or do anything to put him off kilter. The fake news, the Democrats, he's not even bothering with them anymore. I kind of feel like we're all just about the same way. So yeah, I think it would be great to hear from our First Lady, Melania Trump, and she certainly knows a place to do it right here with me. Okay, next question. Loved your interview with President Donald Trump. Thank you. What do you think his next big priorities are? Well, I think you've heard a lot of that this week. I think he's pretty upset with Vladimir Putin. I mean, who isn't? What is this guy doing? You know, he wants to end that war. He has said from the beginning, he wants peace. He wants the killing to stop. And he means that all over the world. He means that with the Russia and Ukraine situation. He also means that in the Middle East. And look, he's done a great job thus far in the Middle East. But you've got Putin, who was allowed to become so emboldened over the past 4 years. Don't forget that because of the stupid policies here in America, our energy policies, Joe Biden, you know, shutting down the Keystone XL pipeline, that was the first thing he did. Don't forget that whenever he went into that White House, rendered America energy dependent once again on the rest of the world. We weren't selling, you know, our fuel to places like Europe. Guess where Europe was getting most of their oil? They were getting it from Nord Stream 2, which Joe Biden greenlit as well. That came from Russia. Russia got a lot of money that kind of poured in that allowed them to kind of become this power to take on Ukraine and do the thing that we know Putin's wanted to do for a long time. I think he'd really like to get that settled. And you saw he made some moves. He's saying, I'm gonna sell some of our military equipment to NATO, and they can make sure that Ukraine gets it, because we got to put an end to this. The killing has to stop. The suffering of these young men and women and people all over that area has just been horrific. So I think he wants to see that end. And then, you know, I think as the one big beautiful bill starts to take shape, I think that you're going to see naturally the way it all will unfold. And you'll realize what a bunch of lies were sold to the American people by the Democrats. The fact is that this is going to inspire more companies to, you know, start a company here in America, to stay in America, to come back to America. It's going to mean the 2017 tax cuts are permanent. Imagine not having to work so hard to do your taxes. Remember President Trump talking about that the first term? He said, I want you to be able to do your taxes on something like that. We shouldn't have to sit down for, you know, weeks on end to do our taxes. It should be very basic, very simple. He's rolling back regulations. All of those things are going to be such a benefit to this country. And then I think he's probably going to want to tackle something over in China. China's, they're tricky, because they were also allowed to kind of embolden themselves and grow a little bigger than their britches over the past 4 years. And I think he's got some work to do over in China. And so I think we'll all see, but I think it's a very exciting time to be alive right now. The first 6 months of this presidency have been absolutely historic. Unbelievable, quite frankly, that he's gotten all of this accomplished. And the one big beautiful bill on America's birthday on his desk to sign, it's perfect. So I think there will be more great things to come. So you'll have to stay tuned. Okay, look, I want to get back into all of that. But first, can I just tell you quickly about Strong Cell? Strong Cell is an awesome, great tasting, refreshing daily supplement drink. And it's in a very small little 2-ounce sip, packed with clean, healthy ingredients and NADH. It's one of the most powerful nutrients your cells need to thrive. Now, here's the reality. We may not want to admit it, but as we age, our cellular health starts to break down. That can mean a lot of different things. Low energy, brain fog, all kinds of aging-related issues. With Strong Cell, your cells can get what they need and your entire body wakes up. So this is natural, sustained energy for mental clarity and that feeling of being recharged from the inside out. Here's the truth. Every vital organ in your body runs on healthy cells. And if your cells aren't working, you aren't working either. Go to trystrongcell.com and learn more about how Strong Cell can help you feel like you again. That's trystrongcell, trystrongcell.com, and use discount code LARA at checkout to save 20%. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all of your continued support. Mike has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of their life, and he didn't stop by creating the best pillow. He's also created the best bed sheets ever. Mike is offering the best deal on his Percale bed sheets. You can get a set for as low as $24.98. The MyPillow Percale sheets are breathable and have a cool, crisp feel. They have deep pockets to fit over any mattress, and they look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Also, for a limited time, when your order is over $100, you will receive $100 in free digital gifts. Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code TRUMP to receive the MyPillow Percale sheets for as low as $24.98. Order now or call 800-624-3945 and use promo code TRUMP. Next question. Your election integrity work at the RNC was critical. What steps do you think should be taken to ensure trust in future U.S. elections? Thank you very much. That was the number one focus. This time last year, guess what I was doing? I was up to my eyeballs in election integrity, of course, alongside Michael Whatley and our great team at the RNC. I hate that we have to do this, but we have to do this. We should live in a country where it's very easy to maintain election integrity, but there have been a lot of slippery tactics that have been used all over this country. You can thank a Democrat for that, over the past several decades. And now we've come to a place where, sadly, in the wake of the 2020 election, a lot of Americans said, I don't know. I don't even know if it's worth going out and voting because my vote's not going to matter. My vote's not going to count. They'll just wipe it out with, some dead person on the voter rolls or some slippery, slick way that they, produce votes at 3:00 in the morning miraculously, ballots in suitcases and the like, that sort of thing. We worked really hard in 2024. Thank you for noticing, to make sure that election integrity was our number one focus. And we have a great blueprint in terms of what we need to do. Look, we had 230,000 people who we got to volunteer across this country to work at every single polling location as a poll watcher, poll worker. We had, a legal team that was 6,000 people spread all across this country who were able to go in a moment's notice and deal with issues. And I think we're going to have to see that happen again. And then we're also going to have to be very vocal about warning people that if you cheat in our elections, we will find you, we will track you down, and we will prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. That does two things. That shows that we're watching, and it makes somebody think twice about messing around and doing something that is illegal. But it also lets people know, hey, there's somebody actually watching. I will go out and I'll wait in that line in, Pennsylvania for 3 hours on election day or leading up to election day in early voting. Now, a couple of things I would like to see happen. I think, the voting season, maybe we need to squeeze that in a little, rein it in a little bit. We don't need months on end of voting. I could see maybe a week. If we compare that down to a week of early voting, everybody can figure out one day to get out to the polling locations and get your vote in, right? Mail-in voting should, as far as I'm concerned, only be if you have extenuating circumstances. If you have a health issue or something along those lines, then you can get, a mail ballot and you can fill it out and you can send it in. What we saw happen in 2020 was absolutely atrocious. I also think you need to have voter ID everywhere in this country. And as a lot of people know, each state makes their own voting process, right? So they're the ones who determine their voting laws in that state. And you have something interesting going on in California right now where they're trying to get on the ballot for this November. And I actually think they're going to be successful at doing it. They're trying to get voter ID on the ballot and allow Californians to vote on it. If you live in California, seek out that petition. You want to sign that and you want to get everyone you know to sign it, because if you guys start having voter ID out in California, I got to tell you, my prediction that the next governor of your state is going to be a Republican, that's just one step closer to coming true. So, those are some things that I would like to see change. Just having gone through what we went through at the RNC last year, I can tell you those measures alone would make elections a lot more secure. If you have voter ID, then you're going to ensure that only legal American citizens are voting in our elections. And then you have to be proactive. We did a lot of stuff like making sure the voter rolls were clean. That means you go to these major districts and you say, let me see when the last time is that you cleaned your voter rolls. Let me check and see if these are actually people who are registered at these addresses. A lot of times they're not. A lot of people on there are dead. You had Cody Timms, a cat, who got a mail-in ballot in 2020. A cat. That's right. You can't have cats voting in elections, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to be the one to point that out. So you've got to be on top of it. You got to make sure that you actually have legal registered voters on those voter rolls so that, random people can't just come in and cast votes. But I think that they understand everything they need to do at the RNC. And right now, Michael Whatley is there as chairman. He was there with me last year. He's got it. He knows how to handle this. But we're going to have to stay on top of it in perpetuity, unfortunately, because sometimes when you can't win on policy and you can't win on your ideas, you resort to other measures, and we can't allow people to do that. Okay. Next question. Does it really feel like a year since Butler and the RNC convention? God, yeah, we were at the convention a year ago right now. Is that crazy? And obviously Butler was Sunday, this past Sunday, but that is wild. Actually, I think it was 1 year ago today when I spoke at the convention. That was quite a time. I hope you liked my speech. Yeah, a lot's happened in a year. And if you remember, right after that, it was like all hell broke loose. We left the convention on such a high because I'm going to say it was the most unified I've ever seen the Republican Party. We had a heck of a convention. It was, full patriotic, good vibes only, all the things that the Democrats tried to claim was happening at their election, like all the good stuff. Everybody no, it was actually happening at ours. Remember, they had the abortion bus at theirs. Don't forget that. And then right afterward, Joe Biden dropped out. Kamala Harris was plugged right in, not a single vote for her. And then she made the crazy decision to have Tim Walz as her running mate. Are you kidding me? I thought for sure it was going to be Josh Shapiro. I could not believe when she chose Tim Walz. I'll never forget where I was. I think it was on a Sunday she made that decision. And I was at the pool with my kids, and I looked at my phone and I said, Tim Walz? What? Thank you, Kamala. Great job as usual. And then what a crazy, incredible election it was. And I'll tell you, those of us who were out hustling on the campaign trail, those last 3 days, I think I slept a total of 6 hours in 3 days. I slept 1 hour the night before Election Day. And then, of course, we were all on stage at 2 o'clock in the morning, making sure that Donald Trump was presenting his victory speech to the country. Amazing. So yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe it's been a whole year since all of that. But that's why you got to use the time you got. You can't, if you want to do something, you got to do it now because it goes real quick. Okay, final question. What's the funniest thing your kids have ever blamed you for? Well, I'll tell you, I have one of my dogs is real old, Charlie. He's 15. He's slowed down a lot. Even this past week, I feel like he slowed down a lot. Charlie has a little flatulence issue. Yeah, that's right. And sometimes when you're in a contained space with him, it can be pretty toxic smelling, and it's very aggressive. And so, of course, my kids like to blame that on mom and dad as often as they can. And it's usually like I'm the only one in there with the kids, and they're like, "Oh, mom, you farted." No, excuse me. I think I know. It's Charlie. For future reference, if you ever see us out and I got a little beagle with me, it's Charlie. I hate to say it. I don't know what happens to the gut on these older dogs, but maybe I need to give them something. If you have any ideas, send it my way. Charcoal? Don't they say that helps sometimes? But yeah, well, these kids just try to blame stuff on each other all the time, which isn't that what siblings do? And then my trick with them is I say, "Oh, really? All right, well, if you guys don't tell me the truth, I'll go check out the cameras. How about that?" And then immediately, like clockwork, it's magic. All of a sudden, somebody's got an answer to where something went, who did this, who did that. Yeah, we're not pointing fingers anymore. Somebody's actually taking the blame for it. So that's how it goes around my house. All right. Thank you for the questions. That's going to do it for us for this episode of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. Really liked all of these. Make sure you can post under this episode or go to any of our social media if you would like to send us your question, and I'll hope that I can get it and do my best to answer it. Until next time, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow, and we'll see you back here next time for more of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning.